Hello, a shortish video today, all about the importance of sometimes doing nothing. I spent most of last week in Scotland, and yes, of course there's some concentration involved in fishing, but frankly most of my time was spent sitting on a riverbank just staring out into the water. You know, occasionally there was a plop, as a trout rose, but generally just taking in the scenery and not really thinking about much in particular other than I wonder if I'll catch a fish. And it was relaxing and it was great, and I've come back feeling really refreshed. I never really bought into the whole mindfulness thing. It always seemed to me a little bit too hippy drippy or a bit pseudoscience, but in recent years I've started to realise that there may be something in it. Certainly there's a lot of science now that seems to be supporting the idea that getting out in nature and just doing nothing basically is good for your brain. The Japanese have a phrase, boketo, which means staring off into the middle distance and not thinking about anything in particular. It's the idea that just giving your brain a rest is good for it. There's a phrase I've heard, soft fascination, and it's the idea that just sitting down and looking at the forest around you, or at the fantastic view of the landscape or a seascape or whatever, is good for you because your brain is taking in lots and lots of information via all your senses. And I'm not just talking about the traditional 5 here, I'm talking about all your senses, because we now have about 37, 40, something like that, senses that we know about. Things like your sense of balance, your sense of heat and cold, your sense of your mass, realizing how heavy you are. Even things like proprioception, which is the idea that if you shut your eyes and wave your arms around, you still know where your hands are. These are all senses. These are all ways of getting data into your brain, but the whole point of soft fascination is that all that information is coming in, but your brain doesn't have a task to solve using that information. In other words, the information is going in and it's got no job to do. So therefore your brain can take a holiday. It can just enjoy the input without having to do any work. And there's a lot of scientific evidence to show that this is good for you. I know I read a book a little while ago called The Nature Fix by Florence Williams, where she describes a number of experiments that were done in Japan and in Canada and a few other places, where they took really stressed business people out into the woods and just made them walk around and take in their surroundings and just relax and chill out and boketo. And in all the cases, their heart rate reduced, their blood pressure reduced. They even started producing more cells that fight disease, because it seems that you need that kind of switching off. And it may well be in olden days when people went out and they worked hard for 10, 12 hours a day, and when they came home there was no TV, there was no internet, there was nothing like that. So they would just basically stare at the landscape or look at each other or admire their vegetable plot. And they were going through this whole mindfulness thing of looking into the middle distance, looking at the world around them, but not having to do anything with it. That whole soft fascination business. I'll admit, it's started to convince me that there may be something in this, because certainly that week's holiday and my daily dog walks, I always feel much better at the end of it. And certainly at my last checkup with the doctor, my blood pressure, my cholesterol, everything was better than normal. I'm actually quite a fit and healthy man now, who's not bad considering I'm 62 this year. Yes, I lost some weight, that helped immensely, but it wasn't just the weight loss. It was the inner health I'm talking about here, and the fact that your mind has to be as healthy as your body. And at the moment, mine really is. I'm an extremely happy, contented person, and I swear a lot of that is just getting out here in nature, listening to the bird song, looking at the scenery, and just letting my brain take a little holiday. Maybe you should try the same. See you next video.